Why do you have to interview me? Why can't it be like open mic, end of year open
And
mic?
welcome to the main pod, episode number 9. We're right here before New Year's, and so we decided, unwillingly, last minute, that we're gonna turn the cameras around at our very own Esther Paula to learn a little bit more about her and her journey, and also a little bit of open mic. We're just gonna talk about stuff like what was I gonna ask you? What we're gonna talk about?
We're gonna talk about what happened with your date the other day.
With my what?
I wanted to know about your date the other day. You were hyped up about what happened yesterday. You were going to ask me questions about myself.
Yeah. But no. I just said we were going to talk about something, but let's save it for the podcast.
Oh.
But I don't remember what it was.
About your date the other day. That's what it was. Because I had asked you what had happened. And you mentioned something about, oh, wait, let's save for the podcast because something happened to me yesterday about timing. And we're talking about procrastination.
I'm getting old.
I don't know. We're drawing a blank here.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I did have something, but let's talk first with you.
Okay.
So, just like with everybody else, how long have you been in real estate?
So I have been in the industry 18 years. I got in by accident, actually, when I was 17. So I started from the bottom as an assistant. And yeah, I happened to be on vacation. So let me start how I started.
Mm-hmm.
I was on vacation on Lake Powell with one of my cousins and family members. And at the time, I just graduated high school. And my cousin approached me and he's like, hey, I'm looking for someone to be my assistant. And I'm like, well, what do you do? How much does it pay? And I was working at Castle Park making like $4 an hour, $6 an hour. Those that you do not know what Castle Park is, it's a little amusement park in the city of Riverside. So I was in the arcade. So at that time, I was like, hey, it pays $10 an hour? Hell yeah, sign me up. I knew nothing about real estate, didn't even know what real estate meant, nothing. So that was in 2005. Got licensed on my birthday. I remember 2005, and as a real estate agent and as a notary. And then from there, kind of just kickstarted, did REOs, BPOs, short sales. Worked for him for a while. Then from there, carried on to work for a different brokerage, and went to the bigger name corporate, which was over at Remax. Mm-hmm. At the time, we were
which one?
Well, at the time, we were the dream team under Champions, Remax Champions. And then from there, expanded out and later became Remax Top Producers. So that's with Christian Jeanette Fuentes is where I learned how to really do real estate and, transition as a TC, transaction coordinator, and then as an assistant to Christian doing flips. Mm-hmm. So I learned how to manage the flips from A to Z, being his right-hand person on the management part of it. So I learned a lot. I was there probably good 8 to 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I moved over to over with another brokerage, which we opened up Synergy One and escrow company. And then from there moved on managing over at Weir. And then now I'm here. So over here, meaning Main Street Realtors.
Yeah. And when you first got the job from, you were in the Castle Park, and then you got your job at that real estate company. At what point did you decide, or did we just wake up today and we're still here? Like, what point did you decide, hey, you know what, I can do this, or this is what I want to do? And what was that decision like?
So at that time, I was going to Cal State San Bernardino. So what's up, Coyotes? I was going to school full-time Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., literally full-time. And I would work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Then when the REO kicked in and I started doing that and cash for keys and whatnot, I want to say my 3rd year into college, mind you, I worked every single holiday from New Year to Thanksgiving and Christmas, was never off. I started seeing the big check come in. And then at that time, there was this big union strike with teachers because I was going in to become an educator. I wanted to be a 3rd grade teacher. That was like my goal. And when I started seeing the pay of what they make compare what I'm making in 19, I was like, hold on. Let me back up a second. I'm going for education, but I'm making double what you're making at my age. So that was kind of my transition point
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, I really love what I do. I really love helping people. I really love the sales part of it. I love the hustle of, real estate. I was infatuated by the go, 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 go nonstop, and the growth I was seeing, and opportunities, not there's different avenues of real estate, so just all that open opportunities and the endless opportunities and amounts of money you can make. That's kind of what made my shift into I'm gonna take a leave of absence. I didn't finish school, and I just went full time in on the operations side, I should say. Let me start there. I did the operations for a long time because I loved the growth of a company and watching that happen before I did the actual sales part.
Mm-hmm. What made you transfer out of like the operations? I mean, you're kind of doing both, still, but yeah, what pushed you to do that other side too?
Just handing over those keys to families, like that smile, of being able to help them from A to Z, whether it's on, the buying side or the listing side, how to help them get started, where to start, to guide them. Hey, you guys need to get pre-approved. Okay, maybe your credit's not great, but let me help refer you out to someone who can help you build that, and just the follow-up and the relationships you keep. I worked with people that I've worked with since '05 still, I have a listing coming up, and that was a past client from years ago.
Yeah.
And that's the awesome feeling to get when you're constantly getting Christmas letters or referrals from the same people you've done 2, 3, 4 transactions with already. And it might not just be from them, but even word of mouth from them. That's an amazing feeling.
I noticed something with you from the very first time I met you. You seem to know everybody, because if anybody says, oh, do you know so and so, you're like, oh yeah, I used to work with them, or I know them, or this or that. Like, everybody, or a lot of people in the industry itself. Do you think that knowing everybody like that, I don't know, how do you get to the point where you know everybody? I mean, because even like for me in high school, like I talk to people that maybe I went to high school with, and they're like, oh, do you know so and so? Do you know so and so? I'm like, no. If I don't talk to you, I probably don't know you. It's just what it is. So I don't know a lot of people, just kind of how I operate. But you know everybody. How does something like that happen?
Wow. I want to say I know everybody. I feel like, well, I mean, let's start. I did grow up in the industry. So I was 17 when I started in the real estate industry. So being here for so long, you get to see people grow from, when they first started a company as an agent, then seeing their numbers grow. And then now you're seeing them become brokers and have their own brokerages. So networking, it's a big part of, our business. And I love people. I love connecting people together. That's, I love that part of the industry too. Networking is a big part of our industry. You want to know everyone, for the most part, because you never know if you'll be doing a transaction with them, and also as a notary public on that end, I was really big on going at the very beginning of my career to, these different lending parties that would happen over in LA or San Diego, just so I can get my foot in the door and get business too, on the notary side for a long time. So that was kind of how I got into enjoying networking, I would say. I always had a big role, like not to party when I'm networking, just because I wanted to stay, focused. And what my purpose was literally handing out business cards. Those who, till this day, I still do this. It's crazy. I hand out my business cards everywhere to anyone for everything. So there's like an ongoing joking with my friends. They call me Esther Knows Somebody.
See, I wasn't lying.
Esther Knows Somebody, or Esther Worldwide. It's kind of funny. Now it's like people are catching on to that nickname. So I'm hearing all the time, like, all right, guys.
You're going to have to change your Instagram handle to Esther.
I know.
Nationwide or worldwide.
Worldwide, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I'm not even going to lie, guys. The more you network and get to know people, and people get to know you, it starts to open up different doors and different avenues, not just in your career, but even outside on personal life too. I've been blessed, I should say, very blessed and very fortunate. And I'm grateful for it, to have a lot of doors open up in the industry and outside the industry due to networking and just getting to know people. Because I generally do love, people. That is what I love, networking. I love connecting. I'm a connector. So
there you go.
That is my thing.
Yes. So I've been doing a lot of learning, outside of just the traditional, like we call it, like a real estate agent kind of thing, where like you said, you're a connector, and that comes from you being naturally you network and you talk to people. That's just something that I think is in you. Where for me, it's not something that's natural, but in real estate, there's so many different ways that you can effectively make money doing it, but also, build your career. Like we talked to Michelle, she's doesn't cold call, but there's a lot of agents, or when you get into that business, they tell you, hey, cold call expires, call FISBOs, call neighborhoods, go door knocking. But I would say that for her, she doesn't do those things. She just, everywhere she goes, she's talking to people, she's handing out business cards. For me, like in real estate, I was like, well, why would I go to a real estate meetup with just a bunch of realtors to talk about that? Like building a relationship with them, to me, other than the opportunity to, if I submit an offer, or if I've got, client in that aspect of it where they might recognize me, and I might have a little bit of favor, which is a benefit, I guess. But why would I talk to them? Well, like you said, you're a connector, a facilitator. So the benefit that I've been seeing, and maybe the errors of my ways, is that just because there's so much opportunity to be able to connect you with this person and then that person with the other person, there's value in that. And there's also money to be made in those instances as well. If you or put yourself in the middle as you grow and you're talking to higher level people, you can put yourself in the middle of certain deals to even make money where you didn't find the client, you didn't, find the asset or whatever, but you were able to put the two and two together. And so I think that's proof from you of what the value is in that.
Well, just like Michelle had mentioned in our previous podcast, she gets a lot of referrals out of state, just through handing out her business cards and networking. And a lot of her business, or some of her business, comes from there too, the network, right? You get referrals out of state, in state, however that is. And for me, I not only attend real estate related events, but even like city ones, those are big ones I like to attend too. I'll Google what's going on in our current city and what events the city has planned. And, just walking around and talking to people, you just never know who you run into. That's been a big plus. And that's how I've actually had a lot of my past clients have been through some sort of an event that I've attended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We asked a very hard-hitting question on the last podcast at the very end. You asked if she was single. Is Esther single? Because I'm sure there's a lot of men out there that would be curious.
No one's interested. Yes, I am single. Dating's been tough, but it's there and I enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, I'm single.
She's single and she's available. She's looking for the right man.
Don't waste my time, people.
Yes.
No, right now I'm honestly very focused in career. Obviously the growth of our company here at Main Street is a big goal too, but also just personal growth, and development. And I know you and I have discussed a lot on manifestations and setting goals and whatnot, and that's really kind of where, we all, it's the end of the year. So we're business planning, right? That's kind of what I'm driven and where I'm focused right now is getting those plans and playing out, to pull the trigger and execute. I was listening to Jocko earlier this morning, so he was like, execute. I'm executing this year.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because it is that time of year, right? We're planning for the next year. I actually had a phone call from a friend of mine today, and he was like, I think I mentioned I did 75 hard, and he didn't want to do it. He doesn't believe in it. Because the goal of 75 hard is to build discipline, build those muscles of discipline and things like that. And he's like, well, I don't need a program to do that. You either have discipline, you're going to discipline yourself and do what you said you're going to do, or you're not going to do it. But the plan or doing a program like that is dumb. That's what he was saying. But he called me today and he was like, hey, my lender friend wants to do 75 hard, and he wants me to help him work out and all these things. And my friend's an ex-Marine. But long story short, we've been friends for several years, him and I, and it seems like the last several years we've came to this point where we're talking about next year, and we're going to set our goals for next year. And the same type of conversation has been happening, where we're like reinventing the next year every time. And so this Thanksgiving, I sat down and I spent almost the whole week of Thanksgiving almost in solitude. I was just in my little office, just thinking, contemplating, pondering, all the good stuff to really understand what it is that I want to do. Where am I going to be in 15 years? There was a book called The 12-Week Year, and that's kind of what led me to do that. So my very first real estate coach was Chatty Bazzi, and he told at that point, he's like, hey, write a letter to your future self where you're going to be. And so instead of just writing a vision, I wrote a letter to myself for 15 years, 5 years, and 1 year. And so my point to him was like, I'm not going to do your 75 hard. I've already done 75 hard, and I know why you want to do it, but I'm not going to do it because I already have written down everything that I want to do. At this time next year, the only conversation I want to be having is what's my next step on the path that I'm already going to be going on. Because I never really wrote it down. And if I did write it down, I didn't revisit it. I didn't make it something that was an everyday part of my life, which we talked about, and just revisiting that every single day and just having it be a part of me and constantly taking that step towards that, which I think before as an agent, I'm very shiny object syndrome, bad, right? Oh, but it's only the reason why agents have it is because it's the path of least resistance. You don't want to do the hard work that's going to take you where you want to go. You want to find the easier path, and you don't have that vision and that process, broken down backwards to get you to where you want to go, then you're very easily swayed off of that path.
So when you're writing these letters to yourself, and I'm glad you brought that up because I'm big on that. I do one every single year as well, but I don't do the 5 year, 15 year from now. I do the 1 year, and I write it literally the day before New Year, and then I open it again like the one before that, and that's how I kind of go back and take a look and reread. Oh man, I did accomplish this, or I didn't, or what could I have done different? Um, do you have that like on you on hand where you can go back and revisit that game plan that you set yourself up for, or is it something you kind of look at quarterly or at the end of the year? Like, how is that for you?
So moving forward, how it is for me is a friend of mine, he puts it on a Google sheet. So whenever you check your email, it's just a click away and you can pull it up. And for him, it's his journal. For me, it's going to be that, and I'm going to be reading through it. And the reason is, like, if I don't see it and I don't keep it in front of me, then I will maybe do some of it because that's what's on my mind, but I'm not going to be driven to stay on that path. I'll be easily pulled off, or when I don't feel like doing what I want to do, what I don't want to do, I won't do it because I don't have that connection to like the why. What am I doing this for? Where am I going? But yes, you're going to review it every week, every month, and every quarter, and daily. So I've got a checklist of things that I need to do daily, and there's a score sheet at the end of every week. And if I'm operating 80+% of what my goals are, then there's no way I can't make it where I want to go. But if I'm operating at less than that, then there's a very good chance I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
It's just like with our sales numbers, where you know how many people you need to talk to get an appointment, how many appointments to get a listing, and how many listings to get closed, right? It's that same process, but we're just doing it with my physical, my spiritual, my business. I'm doing it with everything.
That's cool. I kind of do the same thing, the visual, because I'm a visual learner for sure, or hands-on learner, I should say. But I keep it on my desktop. So every time I open up my laptop or my desktop, it's my screensaver. So that way I can kind of, okay, shoot, I didn't do that. Or I'll see like a picture of someone running like, damn, I didn't hit the gym this morning, or no, I didn't make those calls. And just like you, the discipline part, right? Because I'm also your shiny syndrome. I call it Dory syndrome. Shiny. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm really working on that skill set, is the discipline and the consistency, right? Because everything's flows with consistency. And I started this year, for me, was a big one, was staying true to my calendar, time blocking, not letting anything affect that time block. And life happens, but I can honestly say for the most part, I've been really, really intuitive and with intention of just sticking to the schedule. If you're not on my calendar, you're non-existent. And I say that more because it's like I'm reminding myself, and I say it out loud to keep reminding myself. If you're not on my calendar, you're non-existent.
Yeah.
And that's been really helping me, I would say, time block and get that discipline. And I found a little shift right now where I did kind of get shiny or see shiny, and I'm willing myself back in because I, just like you, I have a game plan and a business plan and a personal plan to execute the 2024 hard and running, not 75 hard.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing, but more so just the day by day, what I need to do, what I need to accomplish in order to get from A to Z.
Yeah.
You know, and the saying goes, and I quote, because I used to hear this from my old broker Wally at the time, you know, you got to go slow to go fast. And as long as you go slow to go fast and you stay on that path, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. You just got to continue doing it.
Yeah. I think I've been really wanting to, where I haven't done it in the past, is like, you know, you talk about the vision board, right? Or you're seeing something that right in front of you that you want, and it kind of reminds you, but to really like emotionally connect to it every day, like look at it, think about it, and just let it infiltrate you in a way that it's real and you can feel it, and that helps keep you in that path. Because in the past, like, I don't connect to it. You just look at it, because it's like you have something in your house that needs to be picked up off the floor, but if you leave it there long enough, you don't notice it anymore.
Right.
It's just there. And that's where, like, I've always not been a fan of the vision board, because it's just visually there, and it's not, it can, after a time, it's just a picture in the wall. Like, you're not going to look at it like you would. So intentionally. So that's why I think for me, I do have the vision board, but I also have the written word where I'm reading my thoughts in my process that way, so that I can just ponder it and really think about it.
Yeah. In my bathroom, I actually change it every month. I write on my mirror for the month of December what my actual goals are.
Is
and
it in
every month,
red lipstick and it's like a hit list?
It's not red lipstick.
Don't want to make the list on her board.
Don't piss me off, guys.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a hitman, although I've been watching a lot of action movies lately. So
my wife started watching that one where the women are scorned and they they go crazy and like kill people.
Oh my God, like the crime scene ones?
It's kind of like that. I forget, it's like Scorn or something weird. But anyways, continue. So change your background.
Yes, I don't do the red lipstick, but I do write in red. One, red's my favorite color. Two, red's a strong, bold color. So for me, it's the meaning of red for me is an action thing. It's, you know, bright, bold in your face. So I write on my mirror every month, the month I'm in, whatever. And then I put actual just goals of that month. So whether it's for recruiting or for listings or for calls or for buyers, or then at the very bottom, and I keep it simple. You don't want to do paragraphs, just like simple, just bullet point items that you want to reach for that month. And then every month that I change it, I go back and I redo the whole thing, because you don't ever want to have that same goal, in my opinion. You know, you want to set new goals for that month, but you want to be consistent on those goals. If you haven't hit that goal, then you want to hit it again, or you know what I mean? So it's a constant, you know, daily reminder when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm looking at it, I'm visualizing it, I'm doing it with intention, you know, and then either I applaud myself at the end of the month, or I'm kicking myself in the ass and just like, all right, Esther, let's buckle up and you know, start putting the action in. So that's how, for me, again, I'm a visual person. I have to constantly see it in my face and remind myself, you know, wake up in the morning with the intention of doing so. I've been doing a lot of the meditational stuff, a lot of being in tune and being present. You know, that's a big thing, being present, even when you're on the phone, because, you know, I'm chatty catty sometimes, let's be real. So being present and listening, you know, just listening to our clients, listening when we're taking those calls, because they're going to give you the answer, you know, especially when you're cold calling. Do you want to buy or sell? Yes or no? And you continue keeping them on the phone. They're going to tell you, don't, you know, overpower that. So I've been trying to be as mindful as I can, you know, being there, being present and being intentional before I make those calls or before I go on any appointments. So that's my focus. Again, going back to, you know, the planning and the visualizing is execute. Like I said, I'm executing is going to be my word of the year. Execute. 2024, my word is execute.
I like it. Are well, one of my old mentors, that was one of her things was there was always a theme. Theme of the year, theme of the month. She was very big in themes.
I like that.
My theme going into next year is Eye of the Tiger.
Can we play that theme song? I'm
Yes.
gonna play that. I love it.
That's what I listen to in the mornings
Yeah.
before my phone calls, is that song. So
Does
that's
it hype you up?
it does. It does. If you I never really listened to the lyrics until recently, and when I came up with that theme, we're listening to it, and yeah, it hypes me up.
I love it. Yeah, I just like you, I always have I try to do some sort of like pick me up, like hype music, whether it's at the gym or before I start my day, just to get in a good mood. Even if I wake up or I had crappy sleep or whatever, and I'm not in that right state of mind of like, let's do this. I have to hear like some kind of hype me up song.
It's crazy how music can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it sets
like
your tone from high to low to whatever it is, like even at night. And now I'm doing the meditational, the sounds, the different levels and the waves and the flows. That's making a difference.
While you're sleeping?
I didn't believe, or not that I didn't believe, let me backtrack. I knew about it, that, different levels of, tones and stuff to hear. But once I started actually doing it, like the different flows levels, only because my sleep was getting really bad. I'm like, man, this stuff really works, Do
you have a TV in your room?
I do, but I rarely watch it. I'm more of a podcast kind of person.
So when you're home at night, like, do you watch TV or you listen to podcasts?
Kind of a little bit of both. It's crazy. Like at home, I have so many unfinished movies. I'm that person. Sorry, guys. Because I'll start watching something and then I'll jump on and either, on the computers or for work or something.
Yeah, it's a woman thing.
Yeah.
My wife, we sit down to watch a movie. She, you want to watch a movie? Let's watch a movie. We sit down, we got the popcorn. 10 minutes into the movie, she's up doing stuff. I'm like, are we watching a movie?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
No, but again, going back to being present, right? So I've been intentionally being present and finishing whatever movie I start. So, like I said, right now, I don't know what it is. I'm on this action kick of like military snipers and like taken kind of stuff.
Because you listen to the Jocko.
I did. That was this morning, but yesterday, just I don't know what. I'm like, let's go. I feel like Rambo right now. Like again, my word of the day. My word of the year.
Another military. Yeah.
I'm just on this let's go kind of a vibe.
Stay out of her way.
I know. Either join or leave.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I try not to watch TV in the bedroom because of the light. Is what I keep reading on. That's what's going to keep you up. Same thing with the phone, right? Like any kind of light or electronic, an hour or two before bedtime, kind of put it down. But, the kind of life we live in this industry is kind of hard when your phone's going off or you're seeing reminders or, hey, you get, check this out or check this podcast out. And we get sucked into that rabbit hole, So at least I do. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself. How about you?
We do not have a TV in our room.
Maybe that's why she did take it out.
We kind of decided that when we first got married that, for us with the intimacy and things like that, sometimes the TV can take away from it. But as of late, we've been falling asleep on the couch watching TV. So it's kind of, but coming into the new year, we're going to go back to, shutting the TV off at 9:00, go in our room and either read or quiet time and like really try to wind down and spend some time together because falling asleep on the couch isn't it?
No, it's not. You know what it is speaking of whether it's reading or something, I actually told myself to, and I don't know where this came up from the other night, because I listen to a lot of audibles too. So whether I'm driving or here at the office, and it can be anything from work related to just random stuff, just kind of switched up. But I wanted my goal for 2024 is literally physically having books. Like I miss the touch of books. I don't know. Is it just a me thing or am I just old school? I don't know, guys, because I still write on a notepad. Like I have to touch things.
Yeah. I think it's when I did 75 Hard, that was like probably I read more books during that time than I had my whole life, physically reading them. And it's different.
It's way different.
I'm very audible listening. Like I listen to things and I just consume that information very easily. But I think it's because maybe it's my man brain, how it's very um you can't multitask. So when I listen to something, like I'm full on listening to it. If you say something, I'll pause it, listen to what you have to say. I'll hit the little 10-15 second rewind, and I'll go through and listen to it again because I'm very locked into what I'm listening to. But when I was younger, when I was reading, I couldn't read and retain.
Mm.
And so, but what I've realized is that that's only because I didn't care about what I was reading. And now that I care about what I'm reading and I'm seeking, and I'm very the same type of way with that reading part of it. Like I don't read very fast, but um, I retain it.
Yeah, doesn't that make a difference when you're actually interested in something? You
Yeah.
actually retain it a lot
Yeah.
stronger than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have several books I've gone back to and listened to several times on Audible, um, just on, like any educational stuff, especially for me, because I get very bored, So, but with books, I'm very intentional about finishing them. I have to finish every single Audible I listen to consistently. Like if I take breaks in between, I know myself and I'm not going to go back, or it's going to take me a while to go back and be like, oh yeah, I didn't finish that book. I once I start a book on Audible, I finish it all the way through. I'm pretty good at that.
Mhm.
But it's just like you said, something about holding an actual physical book and reading it while you're, at the coffee shop or in bed or whatever that is. It's a whole different meaning, or at least I retain it a lot different
Mhm.
than an audible
And there's nothing like the smell of a book.
paper.
It smells so good.
It
I don't,
does.
maybe I'm weird now, but yes, every book that I open, I smell it.
You weirdo.
Yeah.
Killing trees over here.
Yeah. It smells good. But the one I've also, one of my commitments this year is to read my Bible every single day.
Oh, I love that.
So that's another book. So for this year, that's the main book that I'm going to be reading. And I'll listen to some Audible stuff, but
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm gonna find a book to start off with. That should be a good one. So, you guys have any recommendations out there? Please send me a good book to start my 2024 kickoff with. I love reading. I love listening to audibles. I love all that. What's a great book? Do you have one you recommend?
well, what is it that you want to have happen next year?
Well, there's a lot. My top is personal growth and production. And that's my number one is personal growth production alongside with following of growth in company, meaning on the recruiting side, I have personal goals want to hit every month. That's a big personal goal of mine, obviously for the company, but for me personally, because as good of a people person I may be, it took me a long time to build that confidence to actually speaking to other agents.
Mhm.
And I'm talking on the recruiting side of things. So my confidence level has gone from none to like, I feel like I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously I can always be better. I'm not the greatest out there, but I'm still listening to a lot of coaches out there. I'm learning every day and I'm trying to take that in and implement that.
Mhm.
And again, execute that. That's my two top goals. Aside from other personal goals, business goals, those are my top personal goals is the growth and all and that aspect.
Yeah. I'd say the 12-week years, if you're trying to execute,
Yes.
is something that's really good because it kind of breaks down how to, because like most companies have a goal for the sales, let's say sales goal or agent recruitment goal, and the goal is set for the entire year. And it's like, I think it was, you underestimate how far you can go in a year, but you underestimate how far you can go in 10.
Ooh.
And so when you give yourself a certain amount of time, you're going to take that whole time. And like many companies we've seen where at the end of the year, the last quarter, they're like pushing, hey, we're short of our goal. We need to hit our goal. We need to hit our goal. And they're rallying the troops then. Why weren't we rallying January, February, March, or in the middle of the June, or in June or whatever? So the way that it breaks it down is weekly, monthly, and then quarterly. And that is your 1 year. So you're having 4 years in 1 year. And by doing that, you can really analyze, okay, so hey, after this first year, the first quarter, I'm not where I wanted to be, or I exceeded where I wanted to be. Now I adjust all of my metrics for the next year. And through that, you're not waiting till the last quarter to put your push to make your numbers. You're doing it through the whole year.
Right. So part of my monthly goals that I have on my mirror is that specific number. I have it broken down for the week
Mhm.
and for the month.
Mhm.
So it's never just the whole year, because I have to go back and look every week of where I'm at. That's just me. To start to execute that. So like how you said that, I definitely want to read that book, because I feel like that would definitely help me on personal growth and for numbers. But yeah, I'm total a visual on the weekly. What's the weekly goal? What's the weekly number? What's the weekly plan?
Mhm.
Because life happens, we all know, and that can shift. But I want to really,
It'll give you accountability. It's going to give you
the
that
accountability
scorecard
part,
for
exactly.
yourself to like say, hey, yes, I was on track. No, I didn't hit my goal, but why?
Right.
What took me away? Like, and so it's an actual scorecard. It's kind of, it's nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Jocko's book?
Which one?
He's got two of them.
The Influence. I've heard the first one. I've read the first one. Extreme Ownership. Yeah, that's the first one, and then the second one I haven't yet. That one I've listened to a long time ago. I want to say like 2 years ago. I want to say it came out. So I've listened to his book. I have a lot of audiobooks I go back and listen to, Sales Velocity and whatnot too, as far as business. Grant Cardone's book is pretty good. 5-second rule. I'm trying to live by that right now, especially when I wake up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. The moment you hesitate is the moment you stay, and I feel like that flow messes up your day. Just little things I'm trying to implement. Making my bed every morning makes you feel great before I leave the house. Now I have OCD about that. I got to go back and make my bed, because if not, I feel like crap or lazy or dirty.
Yeah.
So just little minor things I'm trying to implement to make my life that much better for me personally. So for that reason, give me all and every book, throw it at me, because I will love to listen and read and and hear all different suggestions out there. I don't know. I just love to learn.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm really nerdy about? It's kind of weird, so don't judge people. Conspiracy. I'm all into that, like ancient alien, how the pyramids started and whatnot. Like lately, I've been digging into that rabbit hole.
What do you think?
It's just, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna be out there, people. I do believe there's other creatures out there. Just even it's crazy. Like the technology. If you really dig and read into it, and again, I've been falling into this rabbit hole of everyone's coming out and started to talk now. So if people who used to work in like the CIA and whatnot, the whistleblowers coming out. So I do think personally, maybe something out there, guys. I'm just saying. Kind of weird.
Build the pyramids?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, look how it's manpower alone. That's just insane. The weight, of those blocks and stuff. Come on.
There was giants back in the day.
That I do. You know what? I do believe there were giants.
There was. Do you know how they became?
How?
Ephelmen? What are they called? It was when the angels and the humans mated. They made the giants.
Yeah. I think I heard that once before, but I can definitely believe there were giants out there.
So maybe they helped.
I mean, I'm short as it is. So everyone to me is a giant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went on a good day, guys.
Yeah. I think they were like 15 feet tall or 20 feet tall.
Like how?
They're big. Yeah, they're big. They found skeletons and the remains and stuff
all these
like
different
that.
Fossils. Yeah. I know, it's crazy what you see and what you find, and especially when you're digging into history and history books and just everything that's coming out. You're like, I never knew, or maybe I did learn that in elementary. I don't know. I don't remember.
I've been on a big kick because I've been learning. I don't know. Everybody talks about TikTok, but I've learned so much from that. From TikTok, from people sharing and showing and research, and, just everyday stuff. Plus, I've been learning a lot about history and how actually the Bible correlates with a lot of that stuff. It's been interesting. And I was just listening to Ryan Pineda. Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Talking to Brad Lee.
Yes.
And they were talking about the pyramids, and they were kind of going back and forth about how they thought that they were made. So
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I get sucked into these little, even TikTok, like you mentioned. Again, one thing I'm trying to avoid before I go to sleep is going on my phone and going down, TikTok or Instagram, and those, you get sucked
It's
in.
addictive.
You get sucked in, or like between that and then I get like these crazy like crime scene stuff pop up. I'm like, what's going on here? And I just get sucked in. Now I want to know what's the backstory, who's at fault, that kind of stuff. But you get sucked into this technology to the point where I honestly, and that's another thing of mine where I want to, maybe during the week put my social media, some of it, not like at certain hours, on pause, meaning remove it so I'm not checking or seeing or
I have a timer.
being distracted.
I have an hour timer for mine.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So for the day.
Like
it's an hour.
I'm gonna set myself like as if
I've already maxed out my hour today. So we're not doing on social media the rest of the day. But
Esther, you have 1 hour on the iPad and that's it.
Yeah.
No, literally, it's crazy how it consumes you. And in our industry, it's like we can't be out of sight, out of mind, So the postings, the contacting people through your social media, it's a big part of our business. Or I mean, not everyone does it, obviously, but I'm saying like for myself personally, that's where I do hit up a lot of my past clients because I do follow them and vice versa. And just check in, say hi, or the text messaging. And right now what I'm trying to implement, which again, I'm learning through coaching, is doing more of the personal videos. So instead of the personal text, I'm doing the videos. Hey, so-and-so, happy holidays. It was a pleasure, working with you, or I just make it personal. I leave out the work stuff, because again, at the end of the day, I do really feel like it's important for us to make, not all clients, because we do fire some, but that personal connection and touch. And I am generally want to be a part of your family at that point too. Your go-to person, not only on the real estate side, but as a friend too, So I'm trying to implement, the videos, but it's kind of hard to cut off, the social media and all of that when you're trying to market yourself at the same time.
Wow.
But like you said, put the timer on. But I feel like an hour isn't enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's 2 hours and you time block it
to my calendar.
Yeah.
Right?
Then you're fine. So if like, hey, for an hour, I'm going to do work.
Yeah.
And then I have another hour of play that I can do throughout the day and whatever. So it's going to be 2 hours total.
Yeah.
So
no, definitely the discipline. That's a big thing for sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, let me turn the mic on you for a little bit. What is it that you do to help, discipline yourself in terms of business? Are you a time blocker too? I mean, aside from the hours, social media kind of stuff, like on a day-to-day, what does that look like for you?
I do time block my day. However, like you said, you're working on getting better at it. It's always improving, I do time block. Mornings for me is cold calling time, from 8 or 9 to noon. That's what my goal is. And then in the afternoons, late afternoons, is to go, on appointments or go do anything other than the calling that it needs to be done. But the morning is my time block time. And then 3 and 6 are the appointment times. And then in the middle of the day, it's admin or content or, posting or doing whatever I have to do.
Do you do any other coaching aside from, because I know I see you always, like, I know when I be walking in, like, hey, yo, Julian, what's up? I always see you on like Zooms and stuff. Are those coaching classes you're doing, or those like teams? Or
no, I hate being by myself. And so those are my people that are sprinkled across the country, and we just jump in there and we do our calls together.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
And so while you're waiting for somebody to pick up, you're talking, or if you did get on a call and they were able to listen because they didn't have a call, then they can critique you, and hopefully you get better and take some advice and always improve.
See, and I like that because I'm also I'm looking into what city I want to sign up for to do Toastmasters to better myself when it comes to speaking, not just publicly, but one-on-one conversations too, to critique me and let me know, hey, am I sticking to the topic? Am I not? Am I flowing? Am I not? The little like this, just
I have a lot of those.
Me too. So I'm really trying to better myself just like you. So that's another thing I'm implementing this coming year is bettering myself, to have those conversations, whether it's on the phone or one-on-one in person. Yeah.
My friend in San Diego, Danny, he is in Toastmasters, has been in Toastmasters for a while and swears by it. He loves it. Absolutely loves it.
It's that harsh reality that nobody wants to hear, but you have to hear it to better yourself. Like
Mhm.
it's, I could lie, I did it years ago, and I remember like the first time I was like, damn, they're just, they're going hard on me. I'm a little kid about to cry here, like, oh my god, what I get
Yeah.
myself into. But it's the harsh reality. No one likes to hear it, but it betters yourself. I always say be honest. The truth always comes out, and you're gonna see it in your work too.
Mm.
If you're not practicing doing the work or doing what you say you're gonna do, it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
So why not have someone tell you? Like for me, I always tell my girlfriends, don't let me walk out looking a certain way if you know I look like a fool.
Yeah.
Because then you're not my friend.
Husbands,
be
do not
pissed.
answer the question. No matter what she says, do not tell her she looks like a fool. I promise
Oh my
you.
goodness. Be
Girlfriends, go ahead.
honest.
Husbands, do not.
No, tell us.
No.
I think yes.
No.
Why?
No. Because
So you did it to your wife? Are you telling me that?
I've done it, and it always backfires.
Really?
It might not backfire me right then, but it will.
I'm opposite. I'm like, tell me the truth.
No, because women want to feel pretty.
Absolutely.
And they want to feel like your husband or your person is attracted to you. And you guys do a lot of stuff. You take care of yourselves. You exercise, you eat right, you put makeup on, you get your hair done, you get your nails done, you buy these jeans that don't fit right, but I want to, so you take them back, and you do a lot of effort into looking a certain way. And when your man tells you, hey, maybe not that, you might say thank you at that moment, but behind the door, you're like, oh, it just, no.
Okay, I'm not gonna say we're not gonna get our feelings hurt, because obviously we're emotional creatures by nature, but I appreciate the honesty. And again, don't let me walking out, looking like I can fit a size 2 when I should be wearing a size 8. You know what I mean? Like, don't let me walk out looking like that.
If you're gonna say something, be very, very careful how you say it.
True. But yeah, either way, I appreciate the honesty. So with that, going back to even the Toastmaster and just critiquing and work in general, that's the only way we get better. It's the honesty and doing the work.
Yeah. I think that's, when I had a quote unquote 9 to 5, there's people that, I don't know, like this whole world of self-improvement and like trying to be better and trying to grow and, listening to yourself on calls or listening to yourself on video or, and critiquing and constantly improving like an athlete, right? Like it's that same type of thing. It's just crazy that it's not that so many people don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like entrepreneurs, a lot of like, that's that journey. It's just what that is. And you're always looking for improvement, ways to get better, ways to be better, ways to implement this or that. But, when you're working a 9 to 5, for a lot of people, blue collar people, whatever, like you're just an employee, not saying just an employee because it's important, but that mindset of always improving and growth and wanting more and like striving for it. You want to raise, but are you looking at ways are you looking at yourself critically and understanding what you're doing in your job and ways that you can improve it to therefore do that? I don't think a lot of people do that, and it's weird.
But do you think it also goes back to, like, we always say, what's your why? Like the 9 to 5, like, I don't know about you. I don't think I can ever be an employee of 9 to 5, did that. And now doing what we do, I like the self-structure, right? But I'm saying those, that are independent as far as not working the 9 to 5, versus, entrepreneurs, it's the why, right? They self-feed themselves. So it's like the sink or swim. We have to survive. We're on survival mode. We don't have security to fall back on. We have to create that security. So I know for me personally, like that's how I try to think and try to implement my life is, okay, girl, you ain't married. You got no security here. You have to create your own 401k. So what did I do? I went out and seeked a financial advisor. Oh, shoot, I have to go pay my own medical. Okay, because my company don't do that. Okay, I got to go call Blue Shield. You know what I mean? Like we have to create and build our own versus a 9 to 5. Again, tip my hat to everybody working 9 to 5s. You guys are hard workers. Absolutely. But I think it's just a different mindset of we don't have that fallback. We don't have that security. We don't have someone to back us up. We are the only survivors in our lives to create that, right? Like we have to make it happen, or else, like, days off, right? Like, I'll give a personal example for me personally. I was in a car accident a few weeks ago. I was like, damn, I can't take a day off, really, because I don't get paid when I don't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
We our day to day is our pay. I took literally one day off, did all the hospital stuff, did all the medical stuff and all that, and the next day, I remember my whole family is like, the doctor, everybody, like, do you need time off work? And I'm like, no. Why? Because I am the only one that feeds my mouth, as far as I have to work in order to make the pay so I can get paid to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different mindset, like, versus, okay, I 9 to 5, I got, security, I get the medical leave. I don't have that. So it's I think that mentality is different. Yes, I agree with you, but I don't know. What's it for you? Because for me, it's my personal opinion. For me personally, is I am the only one creating my future, so I have to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
No one else is doing it for me, and I think I've just been so independent in that sense too. Again, at 17, starting the industry, and just who you surround yourself with, I've seen nothing but that hustler, independent entrepreneurship mentality, where it's kind of stuck and embedded on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the black sheep of my family for sure. I'm the only one who doesn't work a government job,
Yeah.
or a secure job.
Yeah.
The only one, but I love what I do, and I love, the opportunity I'm able, to create for myself, the doors that's open for me. Like, again, I go back to, I'm being blessed by those I'm surrounded with, I network with, I meet, and is keeping those relationships and building off of that. It's important, really important.
Yeah. It's totally different mindset for sure. And I'm glad that and blessed that I'm where I'm at today in having the opportunity to do it. And have my eyes, I guess you would say, open, because but I think it's a different mentality. Like, I think that I wouldn't say that it's gambling, but there is more risk.
Oh, definitely.
Right. There's more unknown. And, sometimes people just like the security, right? Certain personalities and things, they like that security of knowing how much they're going to get, when they're going to get it, and then just base their life off of that. Where even when I was working a 9 to 5, I was always commission based from the start. Like, when I was a mechanic, you were a flat rate. So, like, the more faster I worked, the more money I made. I don't know if you know how that works, but if it pays an hour to change this cup, and I can do it in a half an hour,
You get paid
I get paid an hour. And so I can do 2 hours of work in 1 hour. And so that's how that works. And then from there, I was in the service department. I was selling oil changes and brakes and transmission flushes and all that good stuff. And the more you sell, the more you make. So I've always had that, even in the realm of the business, but now I'm just doing it for myself rather than doing it for somebody else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But even at that time, I never had that bug in me to have that self-improvement the way that I do now.
Isn't it different the older we get? Like, obviously everything changes, right? Like, how you said back then you didn't have that mentality like you do now. So that growth period for you, where did that start happening?
When I got into real estate. So when I was 38, I quit my job, started in real estate. And I guess I've talked to other people and they've kind of had the same feeling, but like, you feel like you're going to get your license and you're going to let everybody know, hey, look, I got my license. And your family, friends, your sphere, or whatever you want to call it, are going to keep you in mind. They're going to send you somebody, or they're going to, call you when they're ready to buy something, but it just doesn't work that way. There's a multitude of reasons why, but you don't understand that real estate is, I guess I was naive to understand that real estate is a business and that it's an outbound sales business. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's a marketing and outbound sales business. And so during that transition of realizing, oh, this is what this is when, I just started listening to things. And then that's just what opened those doors into that learning aspect of what this is all about.
Yeah. I know for me, like, just like you, real estate started really super slow for me. Like, I didn't know what real estate was. I was someone's assistant, shadowing them around for a long time. Learned a lot during that period. Obviously, got into assets and stuff like that with the BPOs and REOs, but I still didn't know. It was just piggybacking from them, if that makes sense. I wasn't educated on as far as like what the opportunity was for myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was working for someone else, not
Mm-hmm.
the independent as an agent or any of that nature. I can read you the contracts back. You know, I knew all of that back end operations, but not how I can grow myself.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't necessarily taught or given so much to me. It was I had to find out and do it as I was growing and learning. And I was like, piecing together the puzzle. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. Oh, that agent's doing that. I'm licensed. I can do that. That was that part of it wasn't taught to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was helping others along the way. Grateful for that because again, I learned so much and again built so many relationships and connections through it. But I think that's why I started so slow as far as like the transaction part of it of growing my own personal growth and growing my own personal self in the industry. It was always the support, the operations, you know, not knowing I was able to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I remember like all excited with real estate, you know, 18, I'm gonna sell a house, I'm gonna be rich, you know, the persona, right? I was buying Dior. I was like, okay, went broke real quick.
Yeah.
Learned real quick, you know.
Have you seen that South Park episode where his mom gets her real estate license, and that's like, and then I don't know their names, but the kid was like,
oh, I'm gonna become a real estate agent. He does the picture.
You don't do nothing. You just take a picture
you take
and
a
they just
picture?
come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I actually just sent that meme over to a few of our agents too, because it popped up and I was like, yeah, he's put on the coat. I'm gonna be a real estate agent picture. Here's my business card.
Mm-hmm. That's all it is. You just sit back and make money. You're gonna be rich.
You'll be rich, guys. Look cute.
Yeah. And then the office is like, this guy's taking on our business. Look at his profile picture. Like, we've got to do something.
Yeah, I did see that. Yes. That was, yeah, you know what? That's what it is out there, right? The work ethic, kind of piggyback to, you know, the strengths, right? And what, I don't know if this is off topic or on topic or whatever. I'm just going to shoot out there. So I feel like the generation today in real estate, the newer comers, if you will, and maybe because I'm still old school thinking, it's a lot different, the mindset now than it was then. Or is it me? Like, I feel as far as like the work mentality, right? I think when the whole COVID and, you know, 2020 hit and everybody was, the rates dropped, everybody was, you know, selling their properties. It was so easy to get a listing. It was so easy, you know, to help buyers and sellers versus now the market shift and whatnot. Now we got to work. And as we've all known, 33+% of the people in the industry have dropped out, which is great for us. Keep going out if you don't want to work, people. Just the work mentality, like the entitlement. Or is it, you know, I've came across a few agents. I'm not saying all, this is just me just talking to talk, whatever. But a lot of the agents I've been coming across are like that entitlement of, oh, I should get 100% or 80%. I'm like, you don't got nothing under you. Like, where's the work? Where's, you know, I feel like that has shifted a lot, you know, for me personally. What do you think? Do you come across any of that?
I think that possibly. I mean, it's hard to say because you're only able to be or influenced by whatever your surroundings are, right? So if you only know that market, then that's all that you're gonna know. So you don't know that. Like, I mean, for me, my personal experience, like, you know, a lot of my business has come from calling expires and FSBOs, mostly FSBOs, but you know, not knowing the markets and the way things move and change, that you know, for sale by owners during 2021, 2020, they were selling themselves. It's just what it was, right? I should have adjusted to some other lead source. I should have been cognizant and aware, but instead I stayed the course because that's what I knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they only know that, you know, 2020 and 2021, we had the most transactions in, you know, a very, like, I think history, whatever, like per year, right? So over 10 million, then that's all they know. So they don't know how to go out and get the business. They don't know what they're supposed to do. So I would say there's part of that, but there is, some of the younger generation also that's is the work ethic is, or the entitlement of what they should get based off of what their effort is sometimes skewed. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I even say that also, like, let's think about this, like the influences, right? Like the influencers, South Park being one that you just brought up. Hey, I'm a realtor. Let's take a picture. But also these other shows that are coming out on Netflix or even on TikTok, whatever. The persona, the picture it's painting. It's so easy.
Selling Sunset.
Whatever it is, whichever show you're looking at, because there's multiple now. It's just the mentality that I've been coming across lately, and not just everyone, like I said, has been, oh, I'm gonna get licensed and I can just make money, but there's no work ethic behind it. So even, even just talking or listening, I remember I was eavesdropping on a friend of mine, her daughter and her friends were talking, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and get my real estate license like my mom, and I'm just gonna sell a house and this, that. And then her the mother and I started asking her questions. Well, how are you gonna do that? Kind of like ask, oh, just posting and TikTok and da da da. We're like, okay, but there's more to it than just posting and TikToking. Like what strategic, stuff are you gonna implement to, how are you gonna get business? Are you gonna cold call, you door knock? Oh no, there's none of that. It's just crazy to me to think like, oh yeah, because of me watching these shows, I'm gonna get these $1 million listings. It's like,
Yeah.
no, honey, you can't just dress the part.
Well, I think I mean, I'm a perfect example, like what I said when I got into the business. You don't realize, I mean, I don't think most agents realize, people that get their license, that it's actually a business, because the barrier of entry is so easy.
Right.
It's so low. If you were to go start an ice cream shop, like, you have to go rent the space, you have to buy all the equipment, you have product, you have to have, marketing and all these other things that go into it. So when you think about your real estate license, and yes, the way that we portray it, they don't show the behind the scenes of what it actually takes. So if you're thinking about getting a real estate license, I would go on YouTube and watch agents doing the thing that you need to do to be able to because there's tons of free stuff on the internet.
Right.
But I don't think that they treat it as a business.
Well, that's the thing. Like, no one tells you have to run it as a business and run you have to strategically plan and prepare and set yourself up as a business.
Mm-hmm.
No one teaches that. They don't tell you that when you go to do your classes or take your license. It's something I feel like you learn internally, and but again, it's the structure, right? Build your business as a business, run it as a business, prepare yourself, run it like a 9 to 5, as if you had a 9 to 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be consistent with your work. Everyone, time, freedom, we can do whatever we want. No.
Yeah. I mean, if the store opens
that.
at 9, the store opens at 9.
Exactly.
Like, it has to be done. Like, we're not just gonna not open at 9 today,
right?
I don't feel like it.
And that's where I think the misconception is of realtors. Oh, you have all this time. Yeah, there's those out there, but the ones making the money are the ones opening the store 9 to 5, like you said, and running it as a business. And then as your business grows, then you have your employees, you start hiring, like, or your those are assisting you. So I think that's a big, misconstrued that people see out there with all these influencers, like, oh, just quick, easy money. Because I know I did. I'm not gonna lie. I was without back then it wasn't TikTok or any of that stuff, but just seeing people driving around and their Mercedes or Lambos, but living at home with mom. Little did I know, and here I am thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get licensed and I'm gonna sell a bunch of real estate. No, I started really slow because nobody was teaching me that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would say that you're in a unique position, though, because for the rest of your career, because you have that experience. I think that there's, if you choose to scale and grow in a way that you have all the experience and knowledge of how the back end of the business is supposed to be run, you have so much knowledge that it's going to serve you well.
Thank you. You know what I do? Again, I go back. I'm very blessed with that. Very blessed for all the experiences I've had. All my mentors, all my brokers I've worked under. It's a lot. That's how the market's changed from 18 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, it's changed. It changes with times, and you have to be able to adapt and change with the times. And that's, I think some people are stuck not doing that. So that's why they're not successful in their business. But as business moves, we have to learn to adapt, that we're chameleons, right? We're also counselors, negotiators, you name it. We're your best friend at the end of the transaction, guys. Definitely your best friend. So call us up. But I mean, I can't complain. I will never, looking back, like I don't think I can ever not see myself as an agent or as a realtor. I genuinely love what I do. Like I really, really love what I do. So I'm sorry for those who wanted me to be a third grade teacher. That was not going to happen. It was not in the cards for me. So, I genuinely, I'm lucky to have fallen into this business by accident, and learned so much. Learned so much from people skills to everything, how to run a business on the back end of stuff. And that for me has helped me to, mold who I am today. Again, I'm still learning and growing. We never stop learning.
Yeah.
There's a lot I haven't learned yet or done yet that I'm looking forward to do.
Yeah. I think that's my next step. Like I've been, doing the solopreneur, you know what I mean? Like you're doing it solo. Like I want to build it into like like in a business or a team or, that type of thing. So that it's just different. Because right now, like you said, if you don't show up, you got in a car accident. If you didn't show up, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And I don't want that long term.
Right.
My goal is I want to grow past that. Not that you're not doing that, but I'm just saying, like that's my next goal.
No, exactly. And that's why I keep telling myself, face the fear. There's these little like sayings I'm following right now where I'm trying to implement in my day to day. And I've started, applying that like a month ago, 2 months ago. Face the fear, whatever it is I'm fearing, whether it's in, business or personal, face that fear. Like I had major PTSD going down that street the first 3 days. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
You could jump in the car. And I remember getting in the car the next day and I was just crying just to get in the car after my accident. And I made myself go down and I cried for the first 2 weeks every time I went down that road, but I made myself go down that road.
Yeah.
And it starts with the little things, as dumb as that might sound, it's the little things that's going to help I feel myself grow into the bigger things and facing those, bigger fears and obstacles that have been, in my way that I've been allowing, to stay in my way where I'm like, nope, we're going to face that. We're going to face that.
I'll leave you as we get close to the end right now. I'll leave you with two things because you had those sayings. Mentor of mine said that your biggest breakthroughs are hidden behind the things you resist the most. Right. And so I think that kind of, and that's, I've found it to be true. The things that I procrastinate or don't want to face, the fears that I have, that I don't want to do, my biggest breakthroughs or the most gain or the biggest growth are hidden behind doing those things. And then the other one is that the size of your problems is a reflection of where you're at, right? So, either in business or in your life, but the growth that you have, especially in business, like the bigger the problem, that means you're doing more, right? If it's little problems, then it's an example of where you're at. The goal would be to have a $10 million problem that you need to solve, right? Some people might look at that and be fearful of it, but you could look at that as a blessing. And I want that because I want to have the bigger problems because that means I'm doing more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, I want to be that problem solver of my own life. Like you said, what's that one song? More money, more problems. But I'm relating that in the sense of, we want the bigger scale, we want the growth. But yes, I'm definitely implementing that, and I'm definitely going to read the book you recommended. So,
do you have a book for me?
Let's see. I have several. I'm trying to think off the top of my head right now. So there's how to grow. Try to think of the name. How to influence people.
How to win friends
and influence people. There you go. That's
I'm actually listening to that one.
Did you? Or are you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished that one 2 months ago. Obviously, I listened to the 5-second rule. That was the most recent one that just got me on this 5-second. It's a little short book. The Golden Egg. That was another one. A lot of little books I've been listening to, little short reads, just to kind of keep it fresh in the mind.
Have you ever read The Compound Effect?
Yeah, it's a long time. I actually have that book at home. Yeah,
was a
I'm going
good
to
one.
reread it. Yeah, there's a lot of books in my Audible that I want to go back to re-listen to as far as growth and whatnot, you know?
Mhm. Atomic
So,
Habits.
Yep, that's another one. What other ones? There's another one with the Phoenix, Fire the Phoenix, or Phoenix of the Fire. Go
Mm.
back and I'll send it to you. It's pretty good. I always say it backwards. But yeah, there's a book on negotiation. I'm trying to remember that name. I'm
Never
horrible
Split
with
the
names.
Difference.
Never Split the Difference. That book for me, for those of you that don't know, I'm kind of spoiler. It's the FBI guy who's narrating it. That it's non-real estate related, but it is such a difference in terms of negotiation. That book, I've read it and listened to it 3 times whenever I feel stuck of where to begin or how to, as far as like getting on the phones, right? Because that's a big, we all fear the phones. I don't know what it is with the phones. It's the fear of rejection, but rejection is what you want to hear. Okay, so be happy when
it's a mind trick.
It is.
It's a mind trick.
Now when people are like F off, I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Yeah, the negotiating that goes on in that book, it's such a trigger, right? Like, oh man, I never thought of that, or I could have said it differently. How to word things differently. It's crazy how powerful words are, and it's important how to structure those words when you're saying it in terms of negotiation, because that one word can throw off the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a powerful book. So highly, highly recommend that.
Yeah,
book.
I'm gonna go back and listen to that one. I listened to it. I think close to when it first came out.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to post it. So for those of you that follow me, watch my IG. I'm going to post it on IG. That way you guys can all listen to the book. It is great. Just in life in general, it's a great book to listen to.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to re-listen to that one. And I think I'm going to listen to the 5-second rule.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I actually have the hard copy. So I'll even give you the hard copy.
Don't give it to me. I'll listen to it. But all right. Well, I appreciate you guys. If make sure you go and like and follow our YouTube channel at The Main Pod. Our Instagram is at The Main Pod, The Main Pod. And you can give us a follow too.
Yeah, follow us, Ester, Paula on IG. So please click subscribe to our YouTube channel, like Jillian said. So we are excited for 2024. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, we will have Rick Diaz and friends on the first week of the new year. So
you don't want to miss it, guys. Definitely don't want to miss it.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Happy New Year.